Hello, I'm Dr. Muhammad Asif. I welcome you to my channel. I will discuss different literary periods and genres of English literature, starting with classical period or Greek period as it is called. The study of English literature usually starts with classical period, and we can divide the history of English literature into the following eras. Starting with the classical period, the classical period 1200 BCE to 455 CE. Number two, the medieval period starting from 455 CE to 1485 CE. The Renaissance and Reformation 1485 to 1660 CE. The Enlightenment New Classical period 1660 to 1790. The Romantic period 1790 to 1830. The Victorian period and the 19th century 1832 to 1901. The modern period 1914 to 1945. This is actually a period of high modernism. The postmodern era from 1945 to the present day. Now, what is CE? Common Era. CE is one of the notation systems for the world's most widely used calendar era. BCE, before the Common Era or before the current era, is the era before CE. So let's start with the ancient Greece. The ancient history of Greece can be divided up into three periods. The three main periods we will cover here are the Archaic period, the Classical period, and the Hellenistic period. During the Archaic period, the Greek government began to form with the rise of the city-states such as Athens and Sparta. This was also when the Greeks began to explore philosophy and theater. Next important phase, the Classical period. The Classical period began with the introduction of democracy in Athens. Athens also rose to new heights in art and philosophy. It was during this period that Athens and Sparta fought in the Peloponnesian Wars. Near the end of the Classical period, Alexander the Great rose to power, conquering much of Europe and Western Asia. The death of Alexander the Great ushered in the Hellenistic period. During this period, Greece slowly declined in power until it was finally conquered by Rome. When we look at these two eras, we find some important words or concepts or systems like government, democracy, art, and philosophy. Greek Hellenistic period from 323 BC to 31 BC. The Hellenistic period begins when Alexander the Great dies. The ancient Greek civilization begins its decline, and the ancient Romans start to gain power. 300 BC, Euclid, a Greek mathematician, writes Elements. This famous writing will have an impact on mathematics for years to come. 140 BC, Rome defeats the Greeks at the Battle of Corinth, making it part of the Roman Empire. 31 BC, Rome defeats Egypt at the Battle of Actium, ending the Hellenistic era. Now we enter another phase of Greek era. This is called Greek Archaic period from 800 BC to 480 BC. 776 BC, the first Olympic Games take place. The games would take place every 4 years in honor of the Greek god Zeus. 750 BC, Homer begins to write the Iliad and Odyssey. These epic poems become two of the most famous literary works in Greek literature. 743 BC, First Messenian War begins. This is a war between Sparta and Messenia that will last many years. 650 BC, the Greek tyrants come into power. Cipsels is the first tyrant of Corinth. Now have a look at what BCE and CE are. BCE and CE are alternatives to the Dionysian BC and AD system respectively. The Dionysian era distinguishes eras using BC before Christ and AD Anno Domini in the year of the Lord. Greek Archaic period phase 2. 651 BC, a lawyer named Draco introduces strict new laws in Athens that are punishable by death. These are called draconian laws. 600 BC, the first Greek coins are introduced. 570 BC, Pythagoras is born. He will make major advances in science, math, and philosophy. We still use the Pythagorean theorem today to help with geometry. You may be familiar with this famous quotation, man is the measure of everything. That forms basis of rationalism. 508 BC, democracy is introduced in Athens by Cleisthenes. He establishes a constitution and is often called the father of Athenian democracy. This is one of the great accomplishments of the Greek culture. BC, before Christ, an epoch used in dating years prior to the estimated birth of Jesus in the Julian and Gregorian calendars. 90 BC, the Greeks fight Persians in the Greek-Persian Wars. Two famous battles are the Battle of Marathon in 490 BC and the Battle of Salamis in 480 BC. The Greeks win and the Persians retreat. 468, Sophocles begins to write plays for the theatre. Soon the theatre becomes a very popular form of entertainment in Greece. 440 BC, famous playwright Euripides wins first prize for the best play in Athens. 432 BC, the Temple of Athena, the Parthenon, is completed in Athens on the Acropolis. Today, this is the most famous surviving building of ancient Greece. 431 BC, the wars between Sparta and Athens begin. They are called the Peloponnesian Wars. The wars will last 27 years, with Sparta eventually conquering Athens in 404 BC. 399 BC, the famous Greek philosopher Socrates is put to death for corrupting the youth of the Athens with his teachings. 386 BC, Greek philosopher and student of Socrates, Plato founds the first institution of higher learning in the Western world. It is called the Academy. 342 BC, the great philosopher, scientist, mathematician, Aristotle begins to tutor Alexander, later to be called Alexander the Great. 336 BC, Alexander the Great becomes king when his father, Philip of Macedon, is assassinated. 333 BC, Alexander begins his conquests and defeats the Persians. 332 BC, Alexander conquers Egypt. He establishes the new capital of Egypt at Alexandria. Over the next several years, Alexander would greatly expand his empire, conquering much of the Persia on the way to India. This is how the Greek amphitheaters looked like in Greek era. Now I will discuss some important milestones with reference to some of the writers of this period. Homeric period. Greek legends are passed along orally, including Homer's The Iliad and the Odyssey. The 5th century, 499 to 400 BCE, in particular, is known as the Golden Age of Greece. This is the sophisticated period of the polis or individual city-state and early democracy. On the other hand, this is a chaotic period of warrior princes, wandering sea traders, and fierce pirates. Classical Greek period. Greek writers, playwrights, and philosophers include Gorgias, Aesop, Plato, Socrates, Aristotle, Euripides, and Sophocles. The 5th century in particular is known as the Golden Age of Greece. Some of the world's finest art, poetry, drama, architecture, and philosophy originated in Athens during this period. Greece's culture gave way to a Roman power when Rome conquered Greece in 146 CE. The Roman Republic was traditionally founded in 509 BCE but it was limited in size until later. Playwrights of this time include Plautus and Terence. After nearly 500 years as a republic, Rome slid into a dictatorship under Julius Caesar and finally into a monarchical empire under Caesar Augustus in 27 CE. This later period is known as the Roman imperial period. Roman writers include Ovid, Horace, and Virgil. Roman philosophers include Marcus Aurelius and Lucretius. Roman rhetoricians include Cicero and Quintilian. Patristic period 70 CE to 455 CE. Now we move from Greek period to Christian era. Early Christian writers include Saint Augustine, Tertullian, Saint Cyprian, Saint Ambrose, and Saint Jerome. This is the period when Saint Jerome first compiled the Bible. Christianity spread across Europe, and the Roman Empire suffered its dying convulsions. In this period, barbarians attacked Rome in 410 CE, and the city finally fell to them completely in 455 CE. Now I will discuss characteristics of classical Greek literature. The first characteristic is rhetoric. In few societies, the power of fluid and persuasive language has been more valued than in Greece. In the use of language, people did not raise or lower their voices. In this sense, the Greeks spoke with a very loud voice and used real words that expressed sarcasm, interest, love, skepticism, and hostility. Number two, importance of emotion and affection. Ancient Greek literature exhibited a great deal of emotion, whether in the behavior of the characters in the narrative or in the response provoked in the audience or the readers. Moreover, there was an extensive vocabulary of emotions in ancient Greece. These emotions are pity, compassion, anger, fear, love, and jealousy. In addition, it was based on a set of affective capacities such as empathy, aggression, cowardice, and attachment. Emotions common to all human beings. Number three, use of epic narrative. The Iliad and the Odyssey are prime examples of the epic narrative, which in antiquity was a long narrative poem in an elevated style that celebrated achievements. Both poems were based on plots that trap the reader, and the story is told in a language that is simple and direct but eloquent. These were oral poems that were transmitted, developed in a vast period of time. Number four, lyric poetry. Lyrical poetry, characteristic of Greek literature, was mainly related to the worship of the gods or to the celebration of the victors in the great Hellenic games. The lyrical choral, which had accompaniments of lyra and aulos, was very complicated in its structure since it did not use traditional lines or stanzas. Number five, philosophical prose. Philosophical prose is considered the greatest literary achievement of the 4th century. It was influenced by Socrates, and his characteristic method of teaching led to dialogue. His greatest exponent was Plato. Socratic dialogue is a genre of literary prose developed in Greece at the turn of the 4th century BC. It is preserved in the works of Plato and Xenophon. The discussion of moral and philosophical problems between two or more characters in a dialogue is an illustration of one version of the Socratic method. Number six, presence of a human divinity. Now, this is very significant and very important for understanding Greek literature. The ancient Greeks developed a religious understanding of the world based on divine presences and traditional histories. The first important and most frequently observed feature of the Greek gods was their human form. Unlike other religions, the Greeks did not give prominence in their religious hierarchy to strange monsters, animals, or imaginary creatures, although there are some in Greek mythology, but they are clearly smaller. Thus, the Greek gods were included within a vast family of deities, just as it happened in the family of the Greeks. Hence, in the Greek religious imagination, the highest and most perfect manifestations of existence had forms and attributes exactly like those of their human worshippers. In fact, except for their power, beauty, and immortality, the Greek gods were exactly like human beings in their way of looking, feeling, or loving. So, this is the one reason we find characters in Greek tragedies and plays talking to gods, because both characters and gods they were similar in many ways. Inclusion of drama and tragedy. Tragedy is a form of drama in which a strong central character or hero finally fails and is punished by the gods. Generally, in Greek tragedy, the hero has a fatal flaw that causes his doom. Often, the tragic facts were committed involuntarily, as the episode in which Oedipus kills his father without knowing it, although others were made aware, as when Orestes revenges his father to kill him. For many years, Aeschylus was the most successful playwright in Athens, winning several competitions. One of his rivals, the Athenian writer Sophocles, wrote the famous work Oedipus Rex, Oedipus the King. A third important writer named Euripides focused more on people than the gods in his writing. Among Euripides' most famous works are Electra and Trojan Women. Greek tragedy is one of the reasons of popularity of Greek literature. Emergence of comedy. The word comedy seems to be derived from the Greek verb that means to delight, which arose from the delights associated with the rites of Dionysius, a god of the vegetation. Aristotle, in his Poetics, affirmed that comedy originated in the phallic songs and that, like tragedy, began in improvisation, although the progress of this went unnoticed. When tragedy and comedy arose, the poets wrote one or the other according to their natural inclination. The distinction between tragedy and comedy is basic. Tragedy imitates men who are better than average men, and comedy to those who are worse. The purpose of the comic artist was to serve as a mirror to society, to show him his follies and vices, in the hope that they would wake up. Use of Greek mythology. The Greek myth attempts to explain the origins of the world, also detail the lives and adventures of a wide variety of gods, goddesses, heroes, heroines, and mythological creatures. These mythological accounts were initially disseminated in an oral poetic tradition. The oldest Greek literary sources are the epic poems of Homer, Iliad, Odyssey, which focus on the Trojan War and its aftermath. The poems Theogony and Works and Days contains accounts of the genesis of the world, the succession of divine rights, the succession of human ages, or the origin of human evils. Originality. This literature, that is Greek literature, was developed with little outside influence. And among all the literary expressions the Greek is characterized and stands out for is the great originality of the text and genres. In this video, we have discussed the history and literature of Greeks and the great contribution that the Greeks have made to the world of literature generally. Thank you very much.